And welcome back to See or Not to See, the only show on Viking Vision worth watching, besides The Dank.
Of course. So, now we're going to talk about Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama, yes. A film with actually a little bit of Barry history, in fact. For those of you who have already watched the film, you might notice that at one point, the lead character, played by Reese Witherspoon, actually goes to another house nearby and pretends that it's her house, but it doesn't really look much like Alabama so much as it does Oak Hill. It's because it is.
Really?
Yeah, it's unfortunately they don't have cannons in the backyard anymore. That would be really nice.
That would have been nice.
Well, anyways, have you seen Sweet Home Alabama?
Actually, I have not.
Okay.
I haven't had much call in the past few.
That's all right. I'll shoulder most of the burden on this one then.
But I did do a little research on it, and from what I understand, it's about a girl with two choices in men, and she's not really that bright, but I kind of figured that out by Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
So, but go ahead and inform me on more of this plot line.
Okay. Katie, if you're still there with us, I'm going to let you know that...
I am, and I'm really interested to see what you have to say because I happen to like Reese Witherspoon. Excuse me.
Well, she's a very good person, I'm sure.
Just made a bad career choice.
Yeah, she would have been very... anyways. Let's see. First thing I want to say is I love the song, Sweet Home Alabama. I think everybody does, and... I think they kind of established a fan base right there, just from the title of the movie. Like, I mean, these people are going to say, Sweet Home Alabama. I love that song. The movie must be fantastic.
I can just see a bunch of Leonard Skinner fans going to this movie.
That's right, dude. I mean, like, I went to go see it with my girlfriend in the Thompson Twin Cinemas in McDuffie County, Georgia, and, like, boom, half the room was mullets. It was amazing. They were very disappointed people.
I'm sure.
Well, anyways, essentially the plot of this movie is that we have one girl who is raised in Alabama, falls in love with the star football player, ends up having sexual relations with him, and gets married to him, and then wants a divorce. And she ends up running away to New York, where she becomes a very successful fashion designer, and she falls in love with another guy. This guy, much more ambitious. He's rich, he's wealthy. His mother is, what is she? Is she a mayor, a senator? Do you remember, Katie?
She is the mayor of New York.
She's the mayor of New York, okay.
And the character you should mention is played by Pat Dempsey, who's better known as McDreamy. And so this is very important.
To some people.
Oh, okay. I'm actually not familiar with McDreamy.
It's okay.
My hot guy culture is kind of falling a little bit, I guess.
I'm sorry. Yes, it is. You should at least know McDreamy.
I'm sorry. Well, anyways. Let's see. So she meets this guy, McDreamy, in New York, falls in love with him, and they're actually thinking about getting married. Well, the thing that she has to hide is that she's not actually divorced from her first husband yet. So in order to resolve this, she goes back to Sweet Home Alabama to meet up with her old boyfriend, played by Josh Lucas. Knew that one. Thank you, IMDb. And...
You know Josh Lucas. Very good stuff.
There we go. And anyways... So he refuses to divorce her. So basically this gives her time to argue with him and go and visit her parents and all of her old high school friends and realize that when she went to New York, she actually left a large part of herself behind in Alabama. And for those of you who really can't tell the difference, it's the one that speaks like this. She really has this very obvious character transition. It's like when she's in New York and when she's a city girl in Alabama, she's very eloquent. But then when she goes to Alabama, all of a sudden, she talks like Mammy.
Mammy?
Mammy, yes, well, Gone with the Wind. Anyways. So essentially, this is what I've always thought about romantic movies. Romantic movies are great in that they tell a love story. Now, I know that seems obvious, but it's not always there. And what I mean by this is that boy meets girl, or girl meets boy. Boy and girl want to be with each other, but oh wait, there's an obstacle blocking their path. And so using their love and resources, they triumph over the obstacle, and at the end, they're together at last. Now, the drama here really isn't so much that. It's more along the lines of this girl wanting two perfect men and not sure which one that she's actually going to dedicate herself to. It's kind of like porn in a way. Just without the sex. It's a fantasy. It really is. There's really no conflict. She just has these two perfect options, and she doesn't know which one to choose. Both of these guys dedicate themselves to her. You've got the rich guy in New York who pays for the wedding, has all this publicity, wants to help her out in her career, goes down to Alabama, accepts the fact that she's lied to him, and then after he's paid for the wedding, and spoiler alert, she leaves him at the altar. But what does he do? Being the noble gentleman that he is, he takes her hand, he kisses it, and walks away, and assumedly still pays for the wedding. We don't know because we won't hear about him again until the rolling credits.
Yay.
Then we have the other guy, the one that she was formerly married to, and then obviously ends up marrying again now that I've kind of given that away. And this guy, granted, he didn't always have a lot of prospects going for him. He still lived in, the house that he lived in high school. He didn't really have a whole lot of money. His best friend was his dog. But we find out later that he based his business on something that he knew that she loved, and that's sand sculptures or glass sculptures formed by lightning striking sand. And so that's what he goes into business in, to prove his love to her. How much dedication does that take for you to dedicate your way of life just to making a girl happy?
It's a lot.
I mean, I'm borderline stalkerish, but in a positive way.
In a positive way.
And so essentially, her choice is this. I have these two perfect men who are vying for my affections, doing everything and sacrificing their all. Which one do I choose? I really didn't see a lot of romance in that. And you don't see the characters developing a whole lot, with the exception of, Josh Lucas's character, the high school boyfriend, who at first is just in it for love and his own glory in the football game, and then dedicates his life to her. But as far as Reese Witherspoon's character, you never really see her giving back, not to her parents, not to the community, not to the men who are vying for her affections. I feel like she's kind of an insult to women. Every time I watch it, I feel a little bit misogynistic. Anyways, Katie, your response. I know there's got to be one.
Yeah, definitely. See, I have a very different view on this movie. I watch it, and I see, yes, there's definitely the love story, but also at the heart of this movie is about this woman who is trying to justify who she is now with who she was in the past, because she's changed a lot, and so she doesn't know exactly how to merge those two worlds. And so I can understand that because I've been through that before, and so that's what I see. And there is a love story in it, and definitely attractive men, and so that's okay. But there's more to it than just a fluffy little blonde, as you put it, because she actually is playing a fairly intelligent character in this one. This is not Legally Blonde. And she's actually a very successful designer because of the sacrifices that she's made in the business. And so I actually love this movie. I think it's great, and I think the commentary on the South is absolutely hilarious, especially if you can just appreciate it for what it is and just enjoy the quirks that do exist in our lovely part of the nation.
Okay.
It is a very quirky movie with a lot of observations. I think you were telling me that there were some posts on IMDb. A lot of people saying that the Southern accent was overemphasized.
Actually, there were some that said it was perfect.
Oh, really? Where was he from?
New Jersey.
Okay, that explains it.
And I believe it was a female at the same time.
Oh, okay. So I'm
and they
sure
said there were
compared
no
to John Bon
insulting
Jovi,
parts. There was no insult on the South.
No insult on the South, yeah, and I'm sure that she thought Deliverance was an educational thing.
All right. Well,
anyways, let's go ahead and give this a rating.
Let's get Katie's first. Katie, what do you give it?
Like I said, I love this movie, so I give it 4 out of 5 William Shakespeares.
Okay.
And David?
Well, we gave it Williams. We did. Well, in the singular. We gave it a 1.
Uh-huh.
Hope you're okay with that.
You got to remember, these are guys' opinions, too. So
I know.
It's true. It's anyways, you can get us back for that one later on. But just for the sake of time, we're going to move on to our next one. Let's see. Is this Moulin Rouge?
Yes, Moulin Rouge. I actually got to preview this last night, so it's fresh in my mind, and I must say I was kind of weirded out by some of the scenes, but especially the club scene where you have all these girls in all these weird dresses, which I actually learned there was a reason for the costumes in that scene by doing my wonderful IMDb research, that each of the 60 girls are dressed in a different type of fetish, which I know is your favorite topic.
What? I did not know about this.
Apparently, the director did that on purpose. So,
60? There are 60? People have an imagination. Okay, keep going.
Anyway, the movie is almost a tragic romance novel. But it's actually adopted from 2 operas and a Greek tragedy. So, but the story starts out talking about a writer, how he falls in love with this girl who gets paid for love.
In a sense, we all do.
And how he has to fight for her love against a duke who is financing a play that he is writing. So, and then, of course, spoiler alert, she has tuberculosis.